Hello, welcome to Bow and Arrow Tarot and this week's episode of the Scorpio Love Chronicles. This is my live weekly love tarot reading for the water sign of Scorpio. So sit back, relax, let's get right into your reading. All right, I've put the lovely card for Scorpio there for you to take a moment to go ahead and meditate on that card. All right, take a few breaths. You're here to enjoy the tarot reading. Now, you may find yourself thinking that this reading has nothing to do with you at all. And of course, that means the reading isn't for you, it's for someone else. And then again, you may find yourself, of course, thinking, wow, this is my situation. And then hopefully there's some insight that you can get from this tarot reading on the energies and the influences on a particular love connection that you have with someone. This is specifically a relationship reading. So not just general love, but we're going to pull cards for you, and we're also going to pull cards for a particular person in your life and look at the connection between the two of you. All right, and what's going on with that connection over this next period of time, next week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks. All right, guys? So let's get right into it. All right, we've got the deck cut. Scorpio onto the side, and right now, with your cards coming out, Lovers, 9 of Wands, 7 of Wands, and the Star. Your person, 8 of Wands, Moon energy, Knight of Wands, and 5 of Cups. Bottom of the deck you have of 2 of Wands energy. So 2 of Wands energy, feeling very sort of like ready to take on the world, ready to move ahead with a goal, right? This is Mars and Aries energy, Scorpio. So it's very fiery forward energy. As an undercurrent in this situation. So let's get right into it. Okay, get these all straightened up. Right away, I see you coming in with Lover's energy, Scorpio. Right away, I see that you have love on your mind this week, right? You have this connection on your mind. It's a strong connection. It's a connection that you've had with somebody, I'm going to say, for quite some time. This is somebody you truly, truly love. I'm going to say this is going to be one of your major loves, This is this energy I'm feeling right away, especially with Star there and 2 of Wands. Your person, they're coming in this week in terms of this connection and in and of themselves. They're just feeling very sort of overwhelmed. Right? They're feeling very overwhelmed and unsure. They're really not, they're really not understanding the energy that's coming towards them from you. Okay? In particular, right? There's a lot of I'm going to say shadow energy here. There's a lot of sort of veiled energy here. It's very confusing for them. They just don't understand where you're coming from. Now, we're going to begin to pull some clarifiers and get much deeper into this. But as I go forward into how you actually see each other, this is just how you guys are feeling right now in and of yourselves. But seeing each other, there's a distance here, right? So right now, you're distant from your lover. You're away from them. You feel, I'm going to say that it almost feels as though you have been forced to stay away, or there have been obstacles in your way to being with them, right? When you see them, you see this energy of not being able to get to them, right? Not being able to find a way. As far as they're concerned with you, they have this feeling of just, unclear, things are so unclear from them. They have moon energy when they see you, and they just feel like very distrustful. There's a lack of trust here. There's a fear factor here of feeling as though things aren't really the way they seem, very apprehensive, right? So let's, I want to begin to pull some cards before we go further. Let's pull some cards on this first. Yeah, and then here, more sleepless nights, and you kind of just, listen, Scorpio, I'm going to say that this is a scenario where this person, their feelings towards you are very, very anxious, nervous. They're unsure. They're unsure of your energies. You come across King of Wands, very fiery and sort of intent on getting what you want. I'm going to be clear. All right. Of course, this reading can be vice versa and take it as it comes. But in this regard here, it just feels strongly as though, you can see yourself. You're kind of sitting there, you're laughing, you're kind of like, look, I'm going to do what I want to do. I want you. And this is, but nevertheless, you are being stopped, right? There are obstacles. There is some drama in the way. There is something in the way between you getting to them. And again, I'm going to say you're going to keep trying no matter what, right, Scorpio? I mean, you are one of the most tenacious signs in the zodiac. And so it feels to me that in order to obtain this relationship, you're going to go full steam ahead. Temperance energy. Right now, you are tempering yourself. You're not doing anything reckless just yet. But I'm going to say that there's a feeling here of you wanting to go full steam ahead. 10 swords. They're done. I'm going to say that they're done. Scorpio, this may be a connection that is at the end, okay? You may have recently broken up with this person, okay? This is a breakup. You guys are not together, and there's a separation here. And your person, there's no desire here for them to come back. There's no desire for them to come back. They feel this chapter is closed. 10 of Swords is there for them. They're feeling very much like this chapter is closed. They're also feeling like, I'm going to say, with regard to the future of this connection, they're very concerned and worried. They're unsure. They don't know what to do or to trust, what to trust, right? I mean, it could be that this was a very sort of rocky relationship. Yeah, they're moving on. In terms of their feeling is to sort of be very, very strong in terms of, 5 of Cups, 5 of Cups here for you, 5 of Cups there for them. Listen, they're going to, while you're kind of going to be wanting to fight for this, because I know you feel as though this is still what you desire, it's what you want, it's your dream. It's not their dream. Okay, it's not their dream. And as far as they're concerned, they're pulled away from you. This is, it is what it is. Take it as it comes, They're pulled away from you, and, it almost feels as though you're determined no matter what. It almost just feels here, Scorpio, as if you're not even really seeing that they're done. That's almost of little concern here. This is more to do with you getting what you want when you want it. This energy here, there's not a lot of love here. Apart from the Lover's card, there's not a lot of love energy here, Lover's card is showing up in as much as you have decided that this person is your soulmate, this person is your lover, and you're going to get them no matter what, but there's no actual feelings of love here. There's no tenderness, there's no caring, there's no real concern. There's certainly no feeling of concern for them because they have pulled away. Right? 10 of Swords, they have made a clean, they said, we're done. I'm done with whatever has been going on here. It's been too hurtful, too painful. It's taken long enough. There's a lack of trust for sure. There's no trust here right now. And if anything, there's a lot of anxiety that they're getting in terms of having to deal with this scenario. For them, it's very confusing and overwhelming. 5 of Cups comes in for you because there's a disappointment here. This person is moving on with someone else. They're coming in with 10 of Cups, 10 of Swords for you, which is a clean break and moving on and coming out with a 10 of Cups here. They also have an energy here of regret, sorrow. There is a feeling here. And I'm going to say that is more to do... Yeah, I mean, I don't think they necessarily they may feel a little bit of regret here in terms of if this was a very long-term relationship, Scorpio, this may have been a relationship that you've been in with this person for a long while, several years, right? And the end of it, they may be feeling a little bit of sort of like mourning the loss of it, right? But they're fully going into something else in a new stage in their life with happiness, and a new love connection is coming in for them. And so, yes, they're mourning it, and that's showing up, I think, more just to say that they're not callous and cold, but they certainly they're done here with you. This connection they're done with. And it's just that way sometimes, sometimes. And again, I want to say that Also, like I said, you're not showing here with a lot of actual tender love for this individual. This seems to be much more driven by pride and the desire to get what you want, the desire to get what you want, or the desire to be right about the fact that this person was for you. This desire that you're moving towards them with is purely for your ego. It's purely self-directed. And I think that is one of the reasons why also they are, they're done, right? They're done. And also there's not love here. There's not, the only love they have here is here, Ten of Cups, before they're moving on. For you, star energy, yes, there's going to be a disappointment here because what you believe to be is not what it is. You know what I'm saying? Right now, some of you have definitely been separated from this person. I'm going to say by force, okay? They may have left and moved to another area, or they may have told you to stay away. There's definitely a feeling here for some of you that the situation got to kind of like a bit of an obsessive state, right? And you were kind of forced to have to sort of stay away from them. There are roadblocks in between. Whatever the case is, hey, it happens. And that feels like that's here too, because there's a lot of anxiety here on their part. There's a lot of worry. And so right now you're coming in with temperance, I think, because you've been forced to stay away from them. And so right now you're kind of like, okay, I'm going to bide my time. But it definitely feels like you're revving up for another effort. You're revving up to try again, and you're going to be disappointed. Because this person, no matter how many times you think you're going to just slow down and give things some time to settle and then try again, it's not going to work. They're done. They're over. They're moved on. They want nothing. Let me pull out these animal spirits. Sometimes it's a tough message, but it is what it is, The deer and the panther. Yeah. Right? The panther comes in out of the darkness and pounces, chaos. You think everything is calm, you think everything is quiet, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, full destruction comes in with the spirit of the panther. You're embodying a little bit of that. This energy is absolutely here, okay? And then you have spirit of the deer, which is like highly feminine, nurturing, vulnerable energy, right? The deer is a strong earth energy to do with being a mother and to do with, taking... The deer is the quintessential mom, right? Taking care of the fawn, but always having to watch out, always having to look over their shoulder for something like a panther. And that's what I'm feeling here. There's a feeling of angst here and of sort of for overbearing, an overbearing obsession, harassing, so, yes, listen, take care, and I think that to a certain degree here, Scorpio, it's like your single-minded idea that this person is for you and that you're going to be proven correct. You want to be proven correct. There's a high degree of ego here. King of Wands is definitely operating in shadow here. So he's not exalted right now. Right now, he's in his dark side, and his dark side is ego, pride, jealousy, wanting to be right, insisting on being right, even when he's not right, forcing a square shape into a round hole, and it's not going to fit, but he's going to make it fit. That's the shadow of King of Wands, and that's what you're exhibiting here in response to this energy. And I would say that, this is not, you may be telling yourself this is out of love, but there is no love here. This is not out of love. This is not what love looks like. And so I think the first conversation to have is with yourself. Why are you really doing this? Because if you truly love this person, you would let them go. This person clearly wants to leave. They have 8 of Wands, 9 of Swords, Moon energy, 10 of Swords. They want to go. They want to be done. They want to be done and rid of this. They don't want the panther energy in their life anymore. They want to carry on being, embodying that deer energy. Real. Spirit of Pentacles, Spirit of Gargoyle, Spirit of the Wolf. Yes. Spirit of the Pentacle, faith, unity, wholeness. Spirit of the Gargoyle. We have intimidation. Okay, guardian, protector, but intimidation, there's intimidation here, and that's what I'm feeling for some of you. You've allowed yourself to become so obsessive that you've begun to intimidate your person. You've begun to make them feel really uncomfortable, really unsafe. I can't, the reading is the reading. Spirit of the wolf is there, loner, fierce instincts. Okay, that spirit is going to come in. All right, whether that be for your person in terms of protecting themselves, or if you're going to be embodying that spirit. But if you're going on your instincts, be sure to go on true instincts and not pride, because right now, this energy feels like it's fueled by sheer pride, the sheer desire to get something that you want, and sort of in a very disingenuous way, trying to perhaps tell yourself that it's because of love, but truly you're not acting in a fashion that would dictate that it's love. Obsession and the need to have something isn't love. It is a filling of an emptiness in the ego. It is a filling in the emptiness of the way you see yourself and your self-worth. And it has nothing to do with love. And in telling yourself that it is love, it fills up a little false bit of pride as well, because then you're like, oh, I do things for love, but you're not doing it for love. So you've made yourself feel better in a very false way, but you're not actually doing the work. The real work in terms of loving somebody is to let them go when they want to be let go, and certainly not to intimidate or to bring in this energy. Spirit of the Panther is some ferocious energy, And now the good side of all of these things is, of course, that Spirit of the Panther energy that comes in. Yes, it disrupts, but a lot of things could shaken up and end up tossed away, and a new thing could totally break down out of all of this, right? But don't think for 1 second it's a new connection for you guys. No, it's a new thing in as much as your person might turn around and be stronger, get stronger, and really take it to you, right? Spirit of the wolf may come in for them, and they may find their own strength. So be careful here. This is a very toxic situation, and you want to pull yourself back and begin to do the hard work of really looking in yourself, some introspection, some self sort of, I want to say, review, just not, hopefully a realization will come, but first looking at yourself and really being honest with yourself about why you're doing the things you're doing, and perhaps being able to see that this behavior is quite toxic indeed. Okay, it's not going to turn out well. There will be a broken heart here again. Right? And your person may indeed, watch out, and they may indeed embody that spirit of the wolf and decide that they're done feeling that fear of the deer. Okay? All right, guys. Hey, this is the reading. This one was a tough one today, Scorpio, but once again, this is all provided in love, and these readings, they're all about growth and our ability to go through difficult times, and some of those times are times of the ego as well. Sometimes our ego fails us, and as long as we take the time and the energy and the focus to look at that, realize that, and do the hard work of rectifying that, then we're always on the path of self-improvement, right? All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this week's Scorpio Love Chronicles, my live weekly love tarot reading for the water sign of Scorpio. Every week, every Wednesday at 6:30, I will be here for you, Scorpio. All right, guys, and cross watchers, thank you for joining me, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'll be back in just over 10 minutes at 7 o'clock for the Pisces love reading. But for right now, Scorpio and Scorpio crosswatchers and everyone who is here today, thank you once again. This is Bow and Arrow Tarot. I wish you all life, love, and happiness, and I'll see you in your next reading. Bye-bye now.